Excellent. So I'm live. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll be brief as possible. Basically, I'm 41. Um, Never really considered myself to be autistic or potentially to be autistic, but I'm sure that um, it's funny now because now that I feel that potentially I may well be, I'm seeing things in what I'm doing right now that kind of like point to that. But I never knew that until last night. Um, so yeah, I feel like now after what I've figured out last night that there's probably a lot of other people like me who like have no inclination that they may well be on the spectrum and um, have lived their life with difficulties in certain ways, but also, some kind of benefits as well, really. Like I like who I am. And now that I'm pretty sure, because I'm not yet diagnosed, I will do that within a week, hopefully. I'm going to go visit the doctor on Monday. But anyway, it's another story. But yeah, so anyway, where was I? Yeah, kind of now that I know what I know, then, or at least that I think I know, I feel like, yeah, I can possibly help a little bit people that were in similar situations to me. So basically, this video is for you if you I wouldn't say have mental problems or anything like that, but like, well, I suppose it might be better to say if you're anything like this, and then I'll tell you what it was like for me. So I went through a big period of depression in my 20s into my 30s, about 10 years. I considered myself to be bipolar because I would just, and still do, just do things like instantly, just completely changing my mind, like on massive level things, like my job, just quit, just walk out, just I'm bored. My relationships, quit, walk out. I don't feel the same. I could leave anyone and anything behind because I didn't feel like I needed to be there. So my family in particular found that really tough because they're a really close knit family, a lot of love, a lot of value, and I never I never shared that. It wasn't because I didn't love them, because I did and I still do, but it was just that I didn't want to be restricted by having a family. I didn't want having a family to put these ties upon me, like I had to behave like this or like that, because I don't consider there to be a proper way to behave other than truth. And that's another thing that I learned out, apparently, that being autistic is, we have different value systems, that things are more important in certain ways. So for me, truth has always been, not always, but I suppose in the last sort of 5 years in particular, truth has been my tenement, my upon which my coliseum of values is built. Truth is the fundamental cornerstone, number one, above everything. And that was good, but it also, because it freed me, because then I was able to just have nothing to hide. But it meant that I hurt people. Like, for example, recently someone said to me, I was talking about this, and they said, "Well, do you miss us?" And this is a couple that I love, like, deeply. They've helped me out millions of times. I help them out when I can. We have a relationship. It's been 15 years. They're amazing. I think they're two of the most fantastic people on the planet because they're just so fucking lovely to everyone. They just always help. Anyway, yeah, they said, do you miss me? Do you miss us? And of course, so this was my reaction. Paused, because I'm thinking about their question, not because I'm trying to frame it in a way that is better appropriate for them or not to hurt them. I paused because I wanted to give the question thought. And there, after a second, they said, "Oh, you've paused," and they were kind of joking, but also that's non-autistic people not understanding that for me, a pause doesn't mean I don't know how to respond. A pause means I'm considering. So I was considering. Anyway, they said that, and then I was like, no, I'm just. And they were like, okay. And then after another couple of seconds, I realized my answer, and I said, no, I don't miss you, not in that respect. Like I think about you. There's often times when my friends, my family, even just people I've just met, come like everyone into my mind, and I think about them, and I might be like, oh yeah, I wonder how they're doing, or I might reminisce and think that was a great time, but I never, or very rarely, if ever, do I miss someone? Do I feel like I wish I was with that person now? Because I'm doing my thing. I consider my thing. I consider now to be the most important thing. Not the future, not what I don't have, not what I want, anything now. So for me to miss someone is lying to myself about being in the moment. Because if I'm thinking about something that's not there, I'm not in the moment. And I'm yet to know. Possibly that's an autistic trait. I don't know. But anyway, right. So hopefully that's enough background. Anyway, so last night, I went out to a karaoke bar in London with a friend of mine, and I wasn't. I don't like going out, right? I'm going out tonight. I'm going to the metal night, and I'm afraid, because, but I'm not afraid because I'm shy. I'm afraid because I know that I'm going into a place where interactions are almost stereotypical. They're almost scripted, and I'm going in there, and I'm just like, honestly, I feel bored about it. Like I like metal music, great, but I want to dance in my room with like my mates or whatever. I don't feel the need to go into a club and like posture and kind of feel people's eyes on me and mine on them and judgment, and I know that also I don't have to be a part of that, but I'm still going into a place where that is prevalent. And so that's why I don't like generally clubs, but I'm going there because my mate does. So anyway, yeah, my mate suggested last night going to the karaoke place, and I was like, hell yeah, because actually we needed to go out. Like I hadn't gone out with him for a while, and I actually I love singing. Like I really love singing. So karaoke was like, yeah, okay, this could be cool. Got there, it was great. I was having a good night, and then I walked past this woman. She was like shorter than I was, sort of looked like 40 or something like that. And she's caught my eye. I can't remember exactly what she said. Something about my clothes was put forward. I can't remember by me or her. I don't know. And I responded with, "Well, these are my only clothes," because at the moment I'm living here, which is it's a friend's room. Like he has amazingly taken me in for the winter because my van is not insulated properly, doesn't have a heater, and I ended up getting chilblains on my fingers. I think you can still on this hand in particular see the red. So I have Raynaud's. So the circulation in my fingers and toes are really bad. So if I go cold water swimming, it's like I can't feel my feet for hours afterwards. It's like I've got a peg leg or something. It's really painful. And this is the first year where this has happened. Chilblains, like in December, I got it bad, and it was like I woke up and it was just like my tips of my fingers and toes, and the fronts here were like covered in purple and red, where the cells had died underneath, and I was like, "Fuck me! Is this chilblains? Is this actually for real happening to me?" And this is like there's something about getting older. I've learned now is now I feel the cold more and everything. So anyway, but man, I digress a lot. I wonder if that's an autistic trait. But hey, yes. So my mate took me in because it's fucking cold, and I've been here for 6 weeks in this one change of clothing. This is all I have. Like, so it's a combination of like top, t-shirt, thermal top, thermal underlayer, thermal top, and then I've got like a hoodie and a black trench coat. But I wasn't wearing this, so I was just wearing all black. And yeah, so she said that, and I said, well, this is all the clothes I have. And then she kind of looked at me, and I felt something inside, like I wasn't being completely fair to her and was maybe being a bit defensive. And so and she said something else, and then I said, well, I only speak the truth, I believe deeply 100% in the truth, and I always tell the truth. And yeah, this is my only clothes. And I was like, well, actually, these are my only clothes at the moment because I'm living with a friend. And then I started to go more into detail about kind of like, I just kind of like opened up. I was like, you know what? Drop it. And just opened up. And I just said anything. I just was completely honest. And I was like, it felt like I was just like, cool, I can just fuck it. Fuck it. So I did. And it was really great because, yeah, this woman, I mean, I noticed certain things about the way that she moved her eyes and moved her hands and like little twitches, little like that. And I recognized it, and I said to her, "Wow, I recognize your mannerisms. It's like really similar to mine." And then she got really like, to my mind, really like, oh, like shocked, like, oh, kind of there was negativity there, like. And then I thought, wow, is saying mannerisms like the wrong word here? Did I upset her in some way? I never meant to. So kind of like I was like, oh, just kind of put that down to the side, and then we carried on. I can't remember, like we got into more stuff, and basically then she said, honey, you are 100% autistic. And this is me paraphrasing. She said, I think she's a 52-year-old, and I only just recently been diagnosed with, I think she said Asperger's, and she said, and you are, like, I could see you are the same, and that was the first anyone's ever said to me about Asperger's or autism. And as I say, I'm 41. Like, I've gone through my life, and people have said to me, "Are you manic depressive? Are you bipolar? Are you depressed?" All of these things. I've even looked into, a lot of narcissism, nihilism, absurdism, a lot of philosophy, trying to find out some sort of meaning for my existence. Like Socrates, this is again going off a tangent. Sorry, I'm bringing it back. So, yeah, well, actually, it's not that much of a tangent. See, so what's happened is I always tell the truth. That's the truth, honestly. And I like to think deeply. And I like to think deeply because I kind of feel like, what's the fucking point of talking shit? I mean, what's the point? Like, there can only be two purposes, right? One, to try and elicit a friendship by talking shit, therefore having proximity for a while and familiarity and friendship grows, right? So you chat shit. You could also be, under the influence of something which might encourage that as well, I suppose. Or the other would be, maybe there is the only point. Well, I suppose the other one would be boredom. So you don't know what else to talk about. So we might not know what else to talk about, and we might feel uncomfortable in this space. So we would talk shit, right? But that doesn't make any sense to me. Talking shit to me doesn't make any sense because it's like, well, it's not really truth, it's filler. B, it's boring. Like, it's boring. Yeah, and that's a massive thing for me. Being bored is fucking terrible for me. Like, I just go like insane. I have to do something. I don't necessarily have to do the same things, but I do have deep interests in a few things, like herbology, fungi, science, particularly quantum physics, and fucking philosophy. And also, like, humans. Like, I find humans fascinating. And metaphysics, yeah, all that fascinating. Anyway, this is great. See all these mannerisms now that I'm using. I feel like I don't have to hold back from them anymore. I was afraid of them before. I was afraid that I was looking weird, or like that I was pretending to be mad, you know? And now I'm just like, I don't have to feel anything about any of it anymore because it's real. And this is why I feel like I had to make this video, because I genuinely feel like this has helped me. And I really feel like if I hadn't have met that person last night, maybe this would be another way that it would help me. So I really hope that you know, just if any of what I'm saying resonates with you, then look at let me find it. Look at AQ-10, right? And I'm gonna load this up and like talk with you about this now. AQ-10 is a test for autism that is for adults that don't have I think it was written as like a negative learning disability as well, or something. Anyway, so up until this point, up until last night, all I knew about autism, Asperger's, was that it was, you know, mainly youngsters. This is my opinion, so, you know, don't take anything more than this. Was my opinion. And it was, you know, maybe they had tics or OCDs, you know, or, you know, kind of like, I mean, I knew Sheldon on Big Bang Theory was autistic, you know, so, you know, but it never felt like me because I never had those tics. I never had them because I was repressing them, because I was afraid of that it wasn't me, that I was lying. Afraid of what it was. I didn't understand because I'd been brought up in a world where I couldn't be ill. Like, I am the son of a successful businessman, and, you know, his wonderful wife, and a great upbringing. And the idea that I could be not the same as them mentally, or have a mental disability or issue, I don't believe at all that it's a disability. I believe it's a gift, actually, but not in terms of this is such a bad way to put it. Gift. I think I'm okay with it. I feel like it's the evolution of humans. I really do. I feel like in reaction to this corporate capitalist society in which there is no meaning for our existence as a base level human, or even anywhere, there's no reason for our existence. We know that. We can't trust anyone. We can't trust our doctors, our government, our, you know, families even. You know, tradition means nothing anymore. Religion means nothing anymore. There's nothing for anybody anymore. We die and it's like, what's the fucking point? So naturally, people are becoming disenfranchised with it. But on a mental level, on a spiritual level, I think we are like subtly molding ourselves to say fuck you to that. Because as an autistic, I don't even know that I am, but okay, my history is, I think I've mentioned it, I can't hold down a job. Never. Not ever. Not ever. And, you know, I never thought that I was autistic then. It was just like, I didn't understand what was going on. I would become bored. And then I would just, a really good example is when I worked in a bar, and once I became bored, I no longer found the customers' jokes funny. And then I remember this guy told me this joke at the bar, and I was just like, I just was like this. I was just like, what am I doing here? What am I doing? I'm bored. I'm not happy. And then I realized that I was being negative, and that was therefore being passed on to the other people. So I had to move. So yeah. So anyway, this test, yeah, it's really interesting. AQ 10. So here you go. There's 10 questions. Now, if you're watching this video, and you don't think you're autistic, or you haven't at least been told, if you resonate with any of these, let me know. I often notice small sounds when others do not. So that's a massive. I mean, this is it. This is autistic. I often notice small sounds when others do not. That's been me my whole life, and to have that written down and be like, that's a symptom of autism, just like blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck? This is something I thought was me, because I've believed that I was a strong empath for a long time, and I believe that everyone is empathetic, like it's a human trait. It's just levels of how empathetic we are and how much we allow that empathy to come out and work with it, and we get stronger at it. And our intuition as well, same. And all of a sudden, to have that in a physical sort of defined question, I often notice small sounds, because that's kind of empathy wise, like I'm always open. And so I'll listen to anyone about anything they want to say, even if I disagree with it, because I believe that, well, all science already is theory, so everything can change. Even my belief system can change. It's limiting if I say no, I know this. I don't know anything. Like I have knowledge of how it is now, how I think it is now, based on my belief systems and my history and my past and everything. And I'm really sorry. I'm aware that I'm kind of like digressing, but hey, I guess that's what we do. So yeah, I often notice small sounds that others do not. So we'll be talking, or are there times that you remember where you're just talking and you'll hear the birds in the background? Or you'll be aware of sounds that you're not even actually really aware of, but you can hear them, and you know that you can hear them, and it's like you kind of appreciate them under the layers of everything else that's going on. It's just kind of nice. So last night, the woman said to me, right now, how much are you taking in? In this bar, we're in a loud karaoke, well lit, lighting, loads of people bar. How much information are you getting? And I said, well, everything, because I'm never, well, I wouldn't say I'm never, we can't say never. I'm rarely turned off, in terms of, I'm rarely closed. I'm usually almost always open, which means I'm receiving signals, and I'm aware of those signals, but it's not like I'm consciously pulling a thread in particular. I was pulling with the thread of her at that point. The interaction with the woman, I was pulling that thread, but I was also aware of the people behind me, what they were saying, how someone over here was kind of like energetically dancing and having loads of fun with like 2 or 3 other people. The barkeeper's shoes, how they were like a light grey, and then the rubber that kind of like squeaks, and then the door to the Red Bull fridge was open in the background, and I could see the lights reflecting off the tops of the cans, and then it was like I felt some sort of negativity as someone like kind of pushed past me a little bit, and I felt that flow through me, and I saw her eyes, kind of like twinkle a little bit, or I smelt the smell of someone farted. I remember that. The taste of the bubbles on the lemonade, and it was just constant. It was just, if I, she asked me to quantify that, and of course I can't. Everything is truth. That's truth. But if you want to actually quantify it, then we've got to go and look at the individual things, which then all I could do was just list out as they came. Now, if that's familiar to you, try it. If you haven't done it, try it. Stand somewhere or sit somewhere, whatever, and just be like, right, where's my attention now? What is it on? And just boom, 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 boom. Watch it move. It's autism. Apparently. 2, I usually concentrate more on the whole picture rather than small details. So exactly as I was just mentioning, I'm always open. I'm always I'm aware that often when I go into a room or a new space, I will be aware of everything instantly, and and a lot of this sounds like kind of blowing my own trumpet or something like that. I don't know how any of this works. Ultimately, I don't even know if it's truth. I could literally just be mad. But this is what it feels like. And I've proved it before. Like I've walked into, me and my friend, we were like bumming around fucking, where were we? Rotterdam, I think, at the time. And we met these people, these 3 girls, and they said, come to this party tonight. It is a hockey party or something. And we were like, yeah, okay. Not because we wanted to get with them or anything, but because we were just like, yeah, fuck it, why not? So we found the place. There was a bouncer on the door, but luckily we looked similar to the people that were going in, so we got let in. And then all these, they were younger than us, way younger than us. Just they must have been in college or something, and I was something like 35 at the time. But yeah, we didn't look too much out of place, but we were a little. Because they were Dutch and we were English, so there's slight changes in, general fashion and idiosyncrasies, I guess, and obviously language. So yeah, but we went into the main room, and I remember looking at it, and there was maybe 200 people in this big main hall, and we were and we were on the outside of it going in, and I remember saying to him, let's go right to the heart of it. Let's go exactly where, as interlopers, we shouldn't be, and let's go there and feel it. And so we went straight through all these people. I felt so many eyes on me, so much judgment, but I didn't feel in any way threatened. I felt completely calm and in control, because I knew that it was going to be all right. And we just went to the middle, and it was a dance floor, and so there's loads of people dancing around us. And for a moment, 30 seconds, I just stood there, and my friend was nearby me. I don't recall what he was doing. He's a similar wavelength to me, so he may well have been doing exactly the same thing. But I just stood there and allowed the energy of the room to come to me, to wash over me. And what I felt was and remember that I have not had any teaching for this or anything. It's just intuition, and I could be entirely wrong, and it could be a belief system that's built on madness. But then again, this is what I believe I experienced, and does that make it not therefore real, just because another person may view it as madness or not possible? So yeah, what I felt was unease, in a word. So I could feel that people were looking at us surreptitiously and asking the question, who are they? And I could even spot it on, the corners of people's mouths. People kind of go, I could see it. I could see the questions being asked. And I was like, no, it's okay. It's fine. I'm going to accept this energy coming in, this surreptitious questioning, judging, asking, and I'm going to subtly tweak it, not change it, just stroke it a little bit as it goes out and let it go back out as it's cool, everything's fine. And yeah, within another 30 seconds, we had people coming up to us and being like, "How you doing? Where are you from?" What, and I told them the truth. Yeah, just going around in vans. We somehow managed to get in here. It's really cool, having a good time. And like 10 minutes later, we chatted to a lot of people, met a lot of people, inside and outside, and had a really good night. Can't remember exactly the point of that, but there you go. If that's ever happened to you, then anyway. So part 2, I usually concentrate more on the whole picture. Oh, that's right. So you see, the whole picture. We're talking, the big picture, which is also why I concentrate on. So why does this word keep escaping me? I concentrate on. It's really strange. I concentrate more on. Okay. Socrates, Plato, Diogenes, they are all philosophers. Thank you. Yeah. So I concentrate more on philosophy and big pictures than on little things. Generally, not all the time. So question 3, I find it easy to do more than one thing at once. I always just thought I was a really lucky guy, because there's always the one about a guy who can do more than one thing at once is good at like going but like so I always thought like I was just really lucky, and I tried to also kind of keep that up. I was proud of that, but actually could be autism. So 2 things at once. I'm good at I can keep 2 conversations going at once. Often I will try and do 2 things at once because it just seems to make sense. It saves time, right? So I'll be cooking and stirring and mixing, or I'll be cutting my nails and brushing my teeth. Sounds disgusting, I know. But that's another thing, see, as autistic, it doesn't bother me. Shit like that doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like, I understand how people would see it as... No, I understand that people can see it as disgusting, but I can't see why. Because it's fucking part of the human body. Even if it smells, it's your body, right? It's our body. There is zero that is disgusting about that because it's real and it's natural and it's meant to be. Disgusting is something that shouldn't be, is dangerous, sickening, literally physically sickening, crazy. So, I find it easy to do more than one thing at once. Okay, question 4. If there is an interruption, I can quickly switch back to what I'm doing. It happens all the time. I'll be talking with someone, something will happen, and I'll be like, oh yeah, just do it to the side. Sorry about that. Go on. Something like that. Or anything can happen. Just I can be doing one thing, something will come along, or I can be doing 2 things and something will come along, and I'll give it full attention, and then I'll just switch back to whatever I was doing without missing a beat. Most of the time. And in conversation, I've noticed that I keep fucking like putting my fingers through my hair. I don't know why. Maybe I do now. So I often in conversation find myself in a discussion where we might get sidetracked, and we might get sidetracked for a long time, and then I'll be like, returning to your or my past question, once that issue is dealt with, I'll be like, yeah, and then taking it back to here, and I want to go back to there and go back to what we were originally talking about as well, unless this is still going in that direction. So you can switch back to what you're doing very quickly if there is an interruption. 5, I find it easy to read between the lines when someone's talking to me. And that, incidentally, also goes hand in hand with number 6. I know how to tell if someone is listening to me and they're bored or they're getting bored. I mean, that to me is absolutely no effort. It's something that I've always done. Like, I can tell what most people are feeling, not thinking, but feeling. I can feel their emotion. I can see it. So, like, in an instant, a tiny movement of the eyebrow will tell me everything I need to know. A flick of their eyes, a twitch in the mouth, a hand moving somewhere. And it's not like, but it's more than that. It's more than just body language. It's kind of like, okay, so last night when I was talking with this woman and I said to her about mannerisms, and because I'd picked up on two of her mannerisms, like that's what I'm doing now, like that, and that reminded me of the mannerisms. And then when I said it, she kind of went, I can't do it exactly, but she kind of twitched and looked uncomfortable. Now, I felt her discomfort, and I felt it because that movement showed somewhat of it to me, showed it in part, but also because I felt that energy. I can't explain it. It's like, it's not scientifically provable, put it that way. But I didn't need to think about it. I didn't need to process it. I felt it. I felt her reaction to it. I felt her discomfort, and that made me feel uncomfortable as well. And I was like, "Oh, have I upset her? Oh, okay, yeah, maybe." But I said to her, is mannerisms not something I should use? Because also, even though I was aware that I had something I said, most likely the word mannerism, or the phrase that mannerism was in, had affected her in a negative way, I also knew, because I always tell the truth, that it had come from a place within me that wasn't, that was non-harming, that was I wasn't trying to do that. And so I was like, okay, let's not panic. Yes, I've definitely upset her in some way, but that's accidental. So let's keep calm and just be like, okay, so was it mannerism? Should I use a different term for that? And she kind of like wasn't fully forthcoming there. It kind of struck her a bit, and then she was off tangent. So I was like, just let it slide, But apparently it's an autistic trait to be aware of other people's feelings, not thoughts. And a good example is we're easily able to tell when people are getting bored. And we find it easy to read between the lines when other people are talking. Number 7, when I'm reading a story, I find it difficult to work out the characters' intentions. This I found interesting. So at first glance, I was like, no, like, I'm always on board with these stories. But actually, second glance, I realized that it's kind of true. I mean, I'm not really sure still. I'm working on that one, understanding it more deeply. But so when I read, I like to be surprised. So I don't ever try really and ascertain what any of the protagonists' motives, not really motives. What is it? Intentions might be, and maybe that's also connected to my work with intention, which is I believe that intention is something that's negative in my life because it takes away my attention onto the future. An intention is the future. This is what I would like the future to be, how I want this to go, future. So one of my tenets is truth, and the second is to live in the now. So yeah, so I'm not sure about that because I don't know whether it's I'm unable to comprehend their intentions or I just can't be asked. And I don't think it's important enough. So I don't know there. Number 7. Number 8, I like to collect information about categories of things. At first, when I was reading that, I was like, maybe. But then I read the examples, e.g., types of car, Not me. Types of bird? Types of train? No. Types of plant? Yes. I fucking love plants. Like, I'm a massive herbologist. Like, I love to identify plants. If it's something that I believe is important, I believe has a value, you know, so nothing to do with society has any value to me whatsoever. Fuck it all, watch it burn, I'd be happy. But plants, nature, survival, now there is an important subject, and hence I love information about such things. You know, I'm been doing plants for about 4 years now, and before that it was fungi. I love to ID them because I can then eat them, and then I can help others, you know, yada yada yada. So yeah, if you like certain things very much, then maybe autism is for you. Number 9, I find it easy to work out what someone is thinking or feeling just by looking at their face. So again, that's related to 5 and 6. It's, I mean, I'd like to describe it more. Perhaps I could describe it as this. There is something an intuition, something inherent within me, maybe something which I don't understand, can't be explained, which connects me to other people's feelings. Body language makes it even easier for me to gauge feeling, but it's not necessary. It's more of a qualifier, really. But yeah, so body language hand in hand with this natural empathy, which we all have, remember, but I think being autistic, or let's not say it yet, but I think the path of my life has allowed me to delve deeper into that empathy and be able to explore that empathy with more freedom and openness than most people, because most people might, because it's not scientific, immediately discredit it and not give it any time of day, whereas I've worked with it since I was 20, I'd say 22 was when I first started. I went to New Zealand for the first time when I was 21, 22, and I had everything I was break, essentially, in a good way. It allowed me to reset. It allowed me to see that thoughts and feelings could be oppressed by systems and traditions and responsibilities, etc. So yeah, number 10, final one. I find it difficult to work out people's intentions. This is the other one that I found interesting. I marked this one as a no as well as the book one, because intentions, same as in the book, like I wouldn't say I find it hard to work out people's intentions. I just don't do it. Like, because, well, if I'm not existing in the future, why am I worried about other people existing in the future? And also, that's kind of like manipulation, right? It's kind of like, this person wants this. I don't care about that. I just want to know how this person feels now, what they're like, you know? That's it. I don't need to know what they intend. So I don't know whether I can answer yes or no for that. I wouldn't say I find it difficult, but then I've not actually really tried it. So God knows. So yeah, those are the 10 questions. And basically you get 1 point per question. The answers are definitely agree, slightly disagree, or definitely disagree. So, but it says only 1 point can be scored for each question. Score 1 point for definitely or slightly agree on items 1, 7, 8, and 10. Score, oh wow, that's important. So number 1 was definitely or slightly agree. So 1 was yes. Score, so that's 1 point. Score 1 point for and so definitely lost slightly is 1, 7, 8, and 10. So 1.7 when I'm reading a story. So I couldn't put that, so there's no point there. So 8, I like to clear if you need it, does 2. and 10. I find it difficult, so I didn't put a point there. So that's 2 points so far. Score 1 point for definitely or slightly disagree on the items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. So 2 points so far. 2, I usually concentrate on the whole picture rather than small details. Oh, how interesting. So number 2 is actually a disagree question. So what you're looking at is, I usually concentrate more on the whole picture rather than the small details. This is so funny. So, and now I'm thinking, well, it could go either way for me because, yeah, I don't suppose I actually really concentrate on the whole picture. The whole picture really just is. Yeah, I do look at the small details. Wow, so that got me. Jesus, was I only just definitely agreeing to all of them? And actually, oh, that's so cheeky. I usually concentrate more on the whole picture rather than the small details. So, no, I concentrate on the small details, right? I don't know. Now I'm confused. I mean, now I feel like I'm altering it to kind of get that point. Really? Okay. I have to relook at this. All right. So we've got to discredit basically everything I've just said with regards to this test. Okay. So with these following ones, the point is scored if you disagree. So I usually concentrate more on the whole picture rather than on small details. I can't answer that. Like, honestly, it's both. 3 is I find it easy to do more than one thing at once. What the fuck? So I find it easy to do more than one thing at once. If you're autistic, it should be no. I can do more than one thing at once. So I've only got 2 points. This is hilarious. So 4, if there's an interruption, I can switch back to what I was doing very quickly. My God. I can do that. And you get a point for autism if it's not the case. What the fuck? I mean, this woman was like, you're definitely autistic, but this test is like, I've got 2 points so far out of 4. 5 is, I find it easy to read between the lines when someone is talking to me. Yes, I do. It's not disagree. 6, I know how to tell if someone is listening to me is getting bored. Yes, I do. It's not disagree. And 9, I find it easy to work out what someone is thinking of me just by looking at their faces. Yes, I agree. So according to the AQ10, I have 2 points. Oh God, on an autism score. And apparently you need 6 points to be diagnosed on the AQ10 with potential autism. So now I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, genuinely, I don't know what the fuck. I was planning on going and seeing a doctor, but now I'm like, well, if the doctor's going to apply that test to me, but this woman was so sure. And I felt so sure because, like, when I was talking with her, like, everything she said and the ways in which she was, just, like, it felt to me like we were the same, you know? And for the first time ever, like, someone who I can be twitchy with, who I can just stand there and go like, yeah, whatever, it fucking doesn't matter, fuck it, you know? Wow. Well, I don't know now. I'm so sorry. I I don't think I'll put this up now because I don't think this helps anyone. Oh shit. Bye.